name is Jason Newton, and I'm from the company called Map of the Month. And I am going to be walking you through the completion of one of our most popular maps, United States of America Places and Geographic Features. You can see it right here. And I think this video will be very helpful for you if you're working on this map, if you have this map in front of you, especially if you're doing any distance learning at this time. So we're creating this video to kind of help you work on this map and get some of the details of the map drawn. Our main philosophy is geography through cartography, which is map making. So as we do the cartography, we'll be learning a lot about the geography of the United States. So let's work in 10-minute intervals. I'll set the timer for around 10 minutes and we'll start in on the map. Okay, so I always like to start with the title first. That's a good way to kind of get the map rolling. And you can see we put the title in block letters, which allows you to add a little color to the title. So let's just do a few letters and talk about how this makes the map look really nice. Maybe sometimes I like to make a pattern. You can decide how you want your title to look. That's the first thing people are going to look at when they look at your map. Maybe I'll do every fourth letter in orange. If you want to create a little pattern, or if you have a favorite color, that works. Try to stay in the lines. Remember, when you're making a map, you're making it for other people to look at. You want it to be as neat as possible. And it's almost a piece of artwork. So it's geography and a lot of other subjects as well. Art being a big part of map making. Okay, you can see I've colored in a few letters here, and that's looking really good so far. All right, so let's dive into the map. We'll get started on the map, and I'll show you how I like to start the map. There's many ways we could just start labeling the map, or we could kind of go about it in a little bit of a strategy. What I like to do is start off with the outer edges first. And we have two countries bordering us, one to the north, one to the south, and two oceans as well. Actually, three oceans if you include Hawaii and Alaska, which also includes the Arctic Ocean along the top. But let's start off with Canada, our neighbor to the north. Okay, I'm going to start off with capital letters, and I'm going to stretch these letters out a bit so that they stretch along the whole expanse of that country along our northern boundary. Okay, so C-A-N-A-D-A, all capital letters, nice and neat. Okay, we can do the same thing with Mexico to the south. Now remember, if there's any point in this video where you just want to pause and work on the map a little bit slower, that's a good strategy. Okay. At any point, just pause the video and you can catch up and work on the map a little bit. Okay, now we're going to also look at the two oceans along the west and east coast. We've got Pacific Ocean to the west, and I can go ahead and try to label that. It might fit nicely down here at the bottom. Once again, you can see I'm using all capital letters. Now, the nice thing is everybody writes differently. Everybody colors differently. So everyone's map is going to come out looking a little different. And that's the fun part of this map. Nobody writes exactly the same. And remember, this is a handmade map, so you have to be careful with your lettering. You have to be as neat as possible. All right, maybe I could fit the word Atlantic right about here. Yeah, that fit pretty good. And then we'll put the word ocean right about here. I'll bring your attention to the compass rose over here. That has to be labeled. And you can see there's a map key over here as well, which will be very helpful on our map as we get into the states. Okay, now if we want to start adding a little color to the map, I like to use green for land, so I might put a little edging of green along that boundary between the US and Mexico, just to show that this is land on the other side of this dashed line. You see that dashed line there? I'll put a little edging of green to show that that's a neighboring country. Okay, try not to go too dark so that you don't want to cover up your letters that you've written there. Okay, so working my way right along. I only have to get down to this part right here, so once again, take your time, try to be as neat as possible. Color is very important in map making. It makes different things stand out, and many times we use specific colors for specific, like I mentioned, green is often a good land color, and blue is usually the color for water. So as you can see, when I get down to the this area of water down here, I can switch over to blue, but I'm going to label the Gulf of Mexico. I forgot to label the Gulf of Mexico. Let's put that in as well. Now, I mentioned making the map look nice and kind of artistic. I think another fun thing to do is to decorate your ocean letters a little bit. That's a fun way to kind of jazz up your map a little bit. You see how I'm putting this little serifs on there? It's a good way to kind of make your map look a little fancier. I wouldn't do this for everything, but the water bodies are often shown with a decorative font. So you can kind of do that with the Pacific and Atlantic as well. All right, so that's a good start so far. We've got the outer edges labeled, and we've added a little color to the boundary, the area between Mexico and the U.S. Let's actually do a little bit of the coastline as well. Maybe we could work on the Pacific coastline. That would be a good place to start. I'll start down here and I'll work my way from the south to the north. Okay, so just take your blue pencil and just carefully work your way up. What we're doing is we're shading along the coastline. The coastline is the term for where the water meets the land. So you don't want to cross over that line. You want to stay along the water side and do your best to try to make it as neat as possible. There's a little bay right there. I'm going to color that little bay in. Okay, and you can see I'm trying to make it about 1/4 of an inch at least. And there's no need to color the whole ocean. Just staying along the coastline is sufficient. Now remember, the slower you go, the better your map will come out. Take your time, don't rush. Sometimes people will make it a little too thin as well. They'll just put a little skinny little line like that. You can actually bring it out a little bit. I think it looks good with a little bit wider line. All right. Okay, and when you get up into this bay, just stay close to the coastline. There's an island oh, there's our timer. Well, that's a good place to stop for now. In our next video, I'll have shown a little bit more of the coastline colored in, and maybe color a little bit of that northern boundary as well. And then we'll delve into the actual states. Okay, well, good start so far.